You probably clicked this link because you don't trust the stock market. You know that it's manipulated. You know it's rigged for the big banks. You know that you can be financially inoculated with everything that's going on. And the reason why you're here is because you might have some FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Fearful because you don't know what's going on. Uncertainty because there's no one to talk to. And doubtful because there's no plan on what is about to come. But one thing, when it comes to retirement planning, if you don't have a game plan for whatever it is about to come, then you are not prepared. It's time for you to protect your money outside of buying gold and silver. This is going to be the best thing because you're protected by contract law. Completely different animal, guys. Again, Carlos Cortez here. Hope I can hear from you. And let's just have a conversation to see if this strategy works for you.
To have the conflict on the best ground we have, summed up in a sentence, that they're making the middle class pay for tax cuts for billionaires, it's much better not to be in the middle of a shutdown, which to divert people from the number one issue we have against these people, which is not only all these cuts, but they're ruining democracy.
Carney is going to focus on economic policy. It's clear that's his expertise. That it is really the central preoccupation of Canadians now is the cost of living, and of course this is going to get even more acute an issue if the tariffs come on, the tariffs that Donald Trump is threatening. If they're imposed upon Canada, then obviously we're in the prospect. People say depending on how long this goes on, we face the real prospect of a recession. What we really do need is a kind of a coherent strategy to make us less dependent upon the U.S., but at the same time, because we're geographically so close and we're so dependent on that market, we have to also think about having a continuing kind of relationship with the U.S. His acceptance speech yesterday, he made it very clear that he will not, deter from the existing Trudeau line, which is that, we're going to fight back, that we have to fight back with these counter tariffs.
If investors thought that you had a clear, well thought out plan to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., wouldn't the stock market be going up instead of down?
I love the fact that the Biden administration leaves us a pile of just horrible numbers. Horrible numbers.
Your numbers are worse than theirs.
When do our numbers begin? With all due respect, when are we having this conversation? In March? Do you think it's our numbers? Do you think our tariffs have anything to do with anything?
There's been a sharp decline in consumer confidence in the stock market.
It's nonsense.
Inflation is ticking back up.
Donald Trump is going to balance the budget of the United States of America. Interest rates are going to drop 150 basis points during his term. Oil and our gas prices are going to come smashing down. Egg prices come smashing down. As these things happen, you are going to see the greatest resurgence in the United States of America you have ever seen. I'm sorry that Biden left us horrible numbers. I'm sorry. Donald Trump can only fix them when he's in office. You can try to pin him with before he was in office. I get it. It's nonsense. Let Donald Trump's policies reign, and you will see at the end of the year the greatest set of resurgence and growth and building in the United States of America. Because remember, each $1 trillion of investment in America, so Apple is $500 billion over the next 4 years, each trillion is 1% of GDP. Each trillion of Donald Trump's investment that he's bringing back with these tariffs is 1% of GDP. And when he balances the budget of the United States of America, I know lots of people say, oh, Lutnick is very energetic. Elon Musk is going to cut $1 trillion of waste, fraud, and abuse. And we are going to earn $1 trillion of revenue. And we are going to balance the budget for Donald Trump. And this country is never going to be the same. It is going to be great.
Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here with another episode of Scriptures and Wall Street. Man, there's so much to talk about, right? Before I get started, I want to say my disclosure here for those of you listening for the first time, or you listening just in general. Everything on this podcast is meant for education and information purposes only. I am a financial advisor, but everything on this podcast should be taken as education information purposes only. If you would like investment advice, give us a call, 813-448-3446, or you can simply visit our website at cortezwm.com. You can download a free guide if that's what you would like to do, find out some more information about us, our views, our philosophies, but also if you don't have a book, all you got to do is book an appointment with us, book a call. Let's see if we're a great fit. Regardless if we're not, I'm going to send you this book. I'll sign it at no cost to you and send it out. And let me know, because I only have, I don't know, maybe 100 left or something like that. But yeah, great book. I wrote it a year and a half ago, and I don't want to make any money off of it. I literally just want to get my message out there. And by you supporting us, by listening to us, you're supporting us. So I appreciate that. So yeah, definitely visit us at CortezWM.com. Just see what the portfolio is doing. Check underneath the hood. Make sure you're ready for this market meltdown. Are you celebrating or are you panicking? The name of this show, this podcast, is just that. Are you panicking or are you celebrating? And for our clients, it doesn't matter. We are confident. We know the markets are going to go up. We know the markets are going to go down. We know that there's volatility and there's manipulations. So what does that actually mean? Well, we're going to talk about charts. We're going to talk about some solutions like we do every podcast. Nothing new, but the market does change. So that is new. And want to tell you about some other things that are happening in my personal life, if you will. And secondly, we want to make sure that you're taken care of and update you on what to be looking out for, not just this week, but this month, and what we can see possibly in the future. So that's my aim today. And stay tuned. So how many times have we gotten lost in the minutia of the everyday life? We've gotten fat, we've gotten lazy, we've gotten complacent, not just in our faith, but also our fitness, maybe our finances, maybe our marriage, maybe our family. But we've gotten complacent, and we constantly need to continue to grow. And one of the things I was weak at was in my fitness. As a former athlete, I thought I had it all. My ego got in the way. I'm like, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Up until now, I have been able to focus on my fitness. For those of you who've been following me for 3 or 4 years, you understand that I've gained a lot of weight. I've used the excuse of having 4 kids, a marriage, a business, helping out at church, all these excuses. And I keep putting myself in the back burner. This is deadly. And what I love about this company, what I love about taking ownership, is that GetMeLeanUSA.com has the ability to introduce natural groundbreaking peptides. What your body demands, what your body needs to release those fat stored cells, to build muscle, to gain your physical being back to where it's naturally supposed to be. We're not talking about big pharma saying we're going to come out with the weight loss drug. We're not talking about losing muscle. We're talking about gaining muscle, gaining your physique back, controlling your appetite, giving you the edge that you need to help you get your body back in check the way God intended it to be, by using his resources with America First products, with America First company that aligns and believes in what you believe in. Introducing GetMeLeanUSA.com. Get in. This is going to be groundbreaking, huge business opportunity, as well as a huge groundbreaking technology that is going to change the landscape. So I know good things before I see it, and I highly recommend you get in. All you got to do is click the link below and get you some fit, get you some lean, and get fit and get lean. This is not going to do everything. Of course, diet and exercise, you continue your walking, continue your protein intake, but man, does it make it a whole lot easier to get in shape. Look at me, I've lost 60 pounds, but this is actually fundamentally a great recipe to get back in shape. And I can personally attest to the amazing effects of this product. So go to GetMeLeanUSA.com. You won't regret it. You can cancel anytime. They're affordable, and yet they're effective. And you are supporting our show. You're supporting yourself. You're supporting a mission. There is an affiliate program attached to it if you would want to share it with your friends and family. There's a whole nother opportunity there. But more importantly, let's get your fitness back in check. God bless you. Carlos Cortez here, signing out. So I can hear it right now. I could hear the victim card mentality. Oh, Trump is making a stock market crash. Trump is causing inflation. Trump this, Trump that, Trump blah, 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 blah. Trump this. We're always looking for someone to blame instead of taking responsibility, right? So that is the easy thing to do. Unfortunately, there's no freedom in that. There's no ownership in that. There's no integrity in that. There's no responsibility in that. There's no masculinity in that, if you ask me. So we want to have control of our retirement. We want to do the right thing. We want to make sure that we're confident, cool, collective, that there's freedom, that there's ability to have access to our funds, the ability to be confident in our plan so that we have income in retirement, so that we can continue to do what God has called us to do. Whatever ministry, whatever that's in your heart, God says that he will give you the desires of his heart. And many of you that watch this are amazing people. Many of you are impactors. Many of you get it. And I love talking with you. You guys completely wake me up every single day. Say, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to share off my chest? And for those of you who've been following me for 4 or 5 years now, I truly mean from the bottom of my heart, I love you. I love you, and I truly care about you, and you know who you are. I can't say names here, but thank you so much for just giving me the few words that I need to keep on going. Because it gets hard. It gets really hard. And sometimes I feel like I'm not good enough. Sometimes I feel that I'm not strong enough. And I have my own weaknesses. I'm not afraid to hide it. I have my weaknesses and my insecurities. Yes, I had pride in my life. I still suffer with pride and deal with it. And I put it on the cross. I give it to God and it shows up. And I'm going to share something personally with my daughter where it showed up. And I was a bad father. I made a mistake. And I had to ask her for forgiveness. I had to ask my wife for forgiveness. But I know this is a financial show. But it's also not a financial show. This podcast is to be real, authentic, and to let you know that you are redeemed. You know, I've been working on my mindset and my walk really my whole life, but really intensely the past 3 years, just learning about myself. I've learned about money. I've learned about others. I've learned about everything. I've learned about concepts and careers and just the Bible, but I've never got to know myself. Like I've never took the time to actually understand my own childhood, to understand my own thinking, my own understanding. And once you open that door, it is a constant battle of personal development that is waiting for you. And I honestly believe that Jesus knew this, and this is why God put this in the Bible. He says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. He knew that. He knew if you had to be married, you had to work on yourself. And he knew that the only way you can work on yourself is picking up that cross. He also knew that love your neighbor as you love yourself. He had to throw that banger in there. I was talking with an awesome client from Vermont, can't say names, and we were discussing how hard that scripture is for me. Like, what if the person next door is a Satanist, a gay Satanist, or some of you, a Jewish Satanist? I don't know. Like, name like the worst person that irritates you the most. And what if that was your neighbor? It's tough, man. It's tough. You got to love that person as yourself. That is insanely tough for me because of my pride issue, because of my arrogance, because of the injustices that I grew up with. And I pray to God daily to take that away from me, to act as if Jesus did. Even though my personality is influential or in dominance, I'm a DI on a DIS assessment, if you know what I'm talking about. Even though my personality flaws, or one thing is, you can't change your personality. You can adapt your personality, but you can't change your personality. But you can change yourself. You can be aware of your blind spots. And so I haven't even gotten to the charts yet, man, and I'm already deep into this, but we want to understand, we want to make sure that all this stuff that we're doing in retirement, in making money and being a steward of our assets, that we're just being a steward of ourselves as well, our mindset. You see, money and mindset go hand in hand. I'm in a day trading program. Every single morning we trade, and there's it's not a cinnamon, but there's a formula. It's 50% mindset, 40% risk management, and 10% actual strategy. Like, you want to learn to trade? It is 50% mindset, 40% risk management. And you would think the risk management and the actual mindset would be the easiest part, but it's really the toughest. And the hardest part is actually the easiest part. This is how you become a multi-million-dollar trader from the comfort of your home. 50% risk mindset, 40% risk management, 10% actual strategy. But a lot of traders focus on the strategy and not the risk management and philosophy. It's the same thing in retirement. You have to have 90% mindset ready, and maybe 10% with the help of a financial professional, 10% strategy. What good is it if we don't have our mindset ready? And I believe our mindset is only cured by the blood of Jesus Christ and his Holy Spirit, who transforms us. He takes the things out of our lives. He gives us a wife. He gives us a spouse. He says a wife is a good thing. And he says, love your neighbor. You can make all the money in the world, but if you're not impacting anybody, you're not being salt. You're not being salt. You're not being light. So we are called to be salt. And that's why I love this podcast, because 30, 40, 50,000 people watch this show. Actually, probably closer to 100,000 every single weekend on other networks. It's not just the views on Rumble. It is the views on Roku that we don't see. It's views on YouTube. It's the views on other networks, proprietary networks. And I'm not boasting, but my job is to be an impact. My job is, God has given me this platform, this microphone. I'm not using it for self-glory. I'm using it to promote the cross, period. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to chase dollars, chase the cross, because God will give you the knowledge and the connection to make whatever retirement, whatever blessings, whatever prosperity goals you have, he will make it into fruition. If you are tithing in your church, you have the right. You have the right, the biblical right, to say, I have tithing rights. And in this scripture, he tells us that he will pour his blessings in a cup, and we can't even contain it. So Malachi 3 is the most gangster, prosperous scripture in the word, where he says, try me in this. And I implore you to test God. Test him in that. Give a little extra this Sunday. Give a little extra to your church. You got a big bonus. Even if you don't go to church, give a good 10, 15% to your church and see what happens to your life. Don't even give it to Scriptures on Wall Street. Give it to your local sex trafficking unit. If you need a good foundation, iRise Florida is amazing. We help battered sex trafficked women find a livable wage through normal means of working. This is powerful, guys. This is extremely powerful. So enough about me. I want to get into it. So we're going to go to Woke Media Yahoo. Wall Street tumbles 10% below its record for the first correction since 2023 on Trump trades war. Man, how many times have we said this? How many times have we said that they're going to crash the markets on Trump? Mike, if you can find it, play it now. If not, it's cool. But man, we've we said this like legit a year ago. I would be shocked and scared and unprepared. But you know how you fight fear other than reading God's words every day? How do you fight fear? Preparation. And a lot of you are not prepared. A lot of you are not in an environment where you can be prepared. A lot of you are still with these woke companies, these woke banks that have their interest, their own interest instead of your interest. A lot of you still are just closing a batted eye and letting the statements come in every single month or quarter, every year, throwing them in trash cans. Okay, I think that's what I started with. And I don't feel like having that conversation. And next thing you know, a crash happens, you lose 30%. Next thing you know, procrastination sets in and you wonder and you get upset and you blame it on your financial professional when it's you that you should be taking responsibility. You're the one that hired this person. You're the one that did this. You had the opportunity to call year round and never did. We got to be proactive. We have to be proactive, guys. This stuff is coming hard. And all this stuff that I follow with the unemployment, with the VIX, with the 10-year treasury or the 20-year treasury, the 10-year treasury paying more than a 2-year treasury, guys, that is bad news. It's bad news that it's been out this long. Like pretty much the whole presidency of Joe Biden has been an inverted yield curve. It's when it uninverts, that's when the crash happens. And you know, let me just say this. This is my opinion. I can't say it's fact, but I can look at the charts and show you every 4 or 5 years, just like the unemployment. If you look at this unemployment chart, you see that pattern. What happens when you go to that trough and it's really low? There's a spike, right? In unemployment, which is typically a recession or a major indicator that we're going to have a recession. We're at that low. Then we scan over to the volatility index. We're at that low. We scan over to the inverted yield curve where the 10-year treasury is paying more than the 2-year treasury. We're at that low. And it's when it uninverts when that happens. You can scan over to Starbucks. People are not spending money on overpriced coffee. And it's the same chart back in 2008. Like chart after chart after chart after chart after indicator, and then the fundamentals. Credit card debt is so high. Foreclosures are starting to trickle in. We have commercial real estate that is massive problem. We have all these problems. Like, how many indicators do you want to quantify and qualify to let you know, hey, get your stuff together because it is coming, dog. Wall Street sell-off hit a new low on Thursday after President Trump escalating the trade war, dragged the S&P more than 10% below in its record. A 10% drop is a big enough deal that professional investors have a name for it. It's called a correction. The S&P 500 1.5 slide on Thursday set the index to its first since 2023. We're going to pull up the charts on that, by the way. The losses came after Trump upped and states the trade war and threatening huge taxes on European wines and alcohols. Not even double shot of good news to the economy. The Dow also dropped 537 points, 1.3 Thursday, and the NASDAQ fell 2%. The turbulence is a result of uncertainty about how much pain Trump will let the economy endure through tariffs and other policies and other reshape the country as the world he wants. The president says that he wants manufacturing jobs back in the U.S., along with smaller U.S. governmental workforce and fundamental changes. Trump's latest escalation came Thursday when he threatened 200% tariffs on champagne and European wines unless the European Union rolls back a nasty tariff announced on U.S. whiskey. So there's trade wars going back and forth. We understand that. Very similar to 2018. We're going to pull up those charts. So it just goes on and talks about the treasury yields. We understand that. We've been talking about TMF and yields going down, yields going up and prices going down. Yeah. So this is what is the havoc right now. And if we just do a woke search on the VIX, the vibes on Wall Street. The vibes on Wall Street are starting to sour. Just look at these 6 charts. Vibe shift. Oh, man, what kind of crap is that? Vibe shift. Or just listen to scriptures in Wall Street and we can tell you what's going on with our vibes. You know, like what the Holy Spirit tells us. Not these vibes. I don't call those vibes. Call it discernment. But yeah, they're just going on, and you know, they're just looking to blame somebody. Looking to blame. Play the victim. Play the victim. So yes, the volatility index is rising, but you know, I don't care what the news says. I want to see what the charts say. So let's go to what we know, the charts. Just like the weight room, the weight machine doesn't lie, the mirror doesn't lie. When you go to the doctor, the blood doesn't lie, right? The weight doesn't lie when you're pumping. Sure as heck, the charts don't lie. So let's go to this, baby. So we're going to pull up the S&P 500. And actually, we're not going to go to the low ADX. We're going to go to our index, predictable trading system, also known as index dominator. Now, I want to talk about S&P 500 right off the jump because everybody follows the S&P 500. It is the flagship of America's financial system. So, we got some stuff to talk about here, my friend. I hope you guys can see that. Let me just double check. So, yeah, there's a lot of issues right now in the S&P 500. Financial hurricane is definitely coming. And I just want you guys to know that, hey, you heard it here first. Technical standpoint, not fear-mongering, literally legit. We saw the charts, legit saw everything. Also, for those of you that are the risk takers and you like to make money off of the down spiral, there is something called SPXS. Again, this is not investment advice, guys. I'm not saying buy SPXS. What I am saying is that you could make some money here. If you think the stock market is going to go down, then this would be a great short-term trade. I'm talking maybe a month, 3 to 4 weeks, maybe even a quarter. This legit, I started talking about it when it was around $5. I'm sorry, around $6. Right now, this puppy is at $6.96. I bought some call options here at 7.5 that are basically getting in the money. Pull it up real quick. SPXS. Oh, yeah, they are. My call options are in. So, yeah, my call options are in the money. So 7.5. I did it actually on our last podcast. So that was pretty amazing. So we're in the money on those call options on SPXS. I don't think it's too late. You could probably pick up some $7.50 in the money call options, or maybe go to $8. The $8 would probably be good. ATR is 34 cents. So we're at $7.60. Yeah, you could actually go to a $8 and you'll be fine. You could risk everything. So what the way the options work, guys, is that when you buy a call option at $8 here, and there's a end date, expiration date, and let's just say it's April 4th operations, or the March 31st ones. If it doesn't hit $8 by that expiration date, you lose everything. There's no value. There's no intrinsic value left. There's nothing. And so if it does go past $8 in that instance, then each contract you hold is worth 100 shares at that price it's currently at. There's a strike price. So a great way to leverage smaller capital. Now, if you have money to throw away and risk, $1,000, $2,000, nothing to you, 10 grand, nothing to you, then have at it. Do your thing. If you want to call me, I may charge you for advice. I'm more than happy to walk you through it. But we're going to charge. But yeah, you could build some substantial wealth doing some call options. Now, I don't do this with all the clients, but for those of you that want my investment advice on it, then give us a call, 813-448-3446. A great opportunity to do it. But yeah, I like SPXS. It's pretty amazing. But it's a high-risk trade, guys. It is a high-risk trade, and I want to make sure you guys understand that. This is not meant for retirement money. So if you're in retirement, please do not say, hey, Carlos, I want to take my IRA and put half of it in this. No. That's not suitable. You need to understand that you need to cut off a portion of your assets. Maybe it's 2 or 3%, no more than that, of your liquid asset. And then you can play with it in this and risk it all. If you lose it, hey, I'm sorry. It's the gamble that you take, but it's not a gamble because it's a calculated risk. Huge upside, though. Huge upside. I think it's going to hit personally. I'm staying in my SPXS. I love it. I'm in the money right now. I called it at 7.5, and it's at 760. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant how many contracts I have. I don't even know. But here's a screenshot of. I only put a few bucks in, like a few grand. Yeah, so I put I think I put $2,000 in it just to play with it, and it's at 1850. I'm down. I got in at a bad price, so I'm down $100. But this thing is cooking. This thing looks really good. So I have on my option till Friday. So hopefully in Friday, I'm going to be watching it. Hopefully it scoots a little higher. I mean, the market goes down a little more. Friday is options expiration, so naturally it's going to be a downward market. That's why I picked the 14th, because it's the third Friday. It's operation. It's options expiration. I don't know why I'm stuttering. Options expiration Friday, the 14th. So naturally the markets will be down. We got a lot of momentum on the downward spiral. So I'm hoping that it hits. And the $2,000 is maybe close to $4,000. We'll see. Hey, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. So that's SPXS. The other cool one that I like is SQQQ. For those of you that are trying to make money on a stock market crash, this is how you do it. You don't have to buy gold. Gold is way too expensive. If you really want to spend $3,000 on an ounce of gold and hopefully you make 10, 20%, that's not for me. But maybe you have millions and you don't care about a $3,000 price. So this is SQQQ. Again, this is on a daily. Look at this bad boy. We've hit rock bottom here, man. We've hit rock bottom. This is 20. Holy smokes. This is 2015. Look how high it was. This would have been 81,000. And right now it's at 36. $36. Blue Cross. So this makes money when the NASDAQ goes down. The NASDAQ is going down. We are in a tech bubble. So if we bought this here, we could buy some call options with an ATR of $2. So we know that, hey, if we bought it at around 29, we could buy a strike price at 32 and we'll be okay. It will be in the option. It will be in, it will be in the range where it could hit. But this is a great short-term trade for those of you that are trying to make a quick buck. You could, by trading this, hold it for maybe a week or two. Again, this would be someone for something that you could lose everything if you buy a call option, or you could just hold the ETF. And I would trade this. I wouldn't hold this long term because eventually the NASDAQ will go up. But if you want to make money on the downside, this is SQQQ. This is short the NASDAQ, and it's a leverage. So this is a great opportunity to buy some call options on it. This is going to air on Saturday. I'm recording this on Thursday the 13th at 7:15 p.m. So my chart is going to be different from Friday and what you're going to see in Saturday and what reality is. However, I have a blue cross here. It's about to hit this 200-day moving average, just like the reciprocal on the S&P 500. Once it hits its moving average, it typically bounces high. We could get some rejection on downward on this, but typically it blows right through it, and it just like catapults, skyrockets from here. So it's looking pretty on SQQQ, which is bad for the rest of the world. Good for you because you're smart enough to have some hedging done. We can use this as insurance. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is on our retirement client side. Like, I love the NASDAQ. I think the NASDAQ is great for long term. Short term, yes, we are going down. We have death crosses. However, overall, the NASDAQ has been incredible. And so now what we can do is for all our new clients that are getting in, we can actually lock in at these prices, get into a volatile index that you can make 100% of this with no fees and have the ability to grow your asset through the QQQ index over time. We're literally quadrupling your money within 10 to 15 years, possibly even 10 times within 15 years. Because of the NASDAQ, because of the tools, because of the green money solutions that you can't get with your red money vaccinated advisor. So we want to be able to help you. We want to be able to help you have the ability to protect your principal. Again, I'm not saying anything that the NASDAQ is going to yield 25% every single year. But if you did the math on the compound calculator, you could see the returns for yourself, and you can look up the QQQ, the historicals, and you can have the ability to mathematically predict where your retirement is going to be with no losses and no fees and no risk. And having compounding account that will get you the returns, you pull your 5 to 7% annually, and you'll never touch your principal if you never had losses in your account. Now, we can talk about trades or we can talk about retirement. Totally different animal there. I want to make sure that we're clear. For my retirement clients, we're going to use tools like this to help us navigate through your yellow money. Like, you're going to need money to trade to make money off the markets, but you're also going to need green money. And green money is going to be your long-term, your Toyota Camry. It hates gas. It's very dependable. You can go places. You don't really have to worry about maintenance as much. And if it is maintenance, it's affordable. That is going to be your Toyota Camry approach with this index, with Green Money Solutions. So if that's you, give us a call, 813-448-3446. We want to help you. We want to make sure that your principal is guaranteed, locked, and insured. Many clients like that. They like that language. And so we can simply just use the NASDAQ to get us there. Another thing, Bitcoin has like 40-50% retracement. So look at this bad boy. I mean, it is gumming down. I really feel that Bitcoin is going to go down. We see these little bounces, backs ups, but the weekly is now showing huge weakness on a weekly. The daily is where I typically get most of my information from, but it's all red here. Bitcoin is going down, possibly to 62,000, 61,000, around there. SBIT, if you want to make money off the short on Bitcoin, SBIT is going up. This is the inverse of Bitcoin. I was talking about it around 1050. I think I got in around 1075. Now it's over 13. Huge opportunity here, guys. Again, short-term trades. I'm talking maybe 3 to 4 weeks, a month, and then we're out. But I want to continue to update for those of you that are in SBIT. You could buy, let's see here, $13 call options. I got in at 11, so I'm in the money on this bad boy. As you can see here, SBIT has been great. I only put a few bucks in, and it is doing well. It is a risk trade. This is a risk trade. This is not investment advice. This is for money that you can't afford to lose. Simply put, this is, oh, here's Tesla. For those of you that are into Tesla, um, got a death cross here. We're starting to see some green, some weakening here. So we might get a rebound. We might get a rebound here, but as earnings come, earnings is in May, but I really feel this is really going to go down possibly to 200. We have an ATR of 20, so it can move $20 in any single day. And if we get another ATR of 20, it could go to 200. But we got earnings in May, and people are going to buy when it hits low. But yeah, this thing is coming down hard, and then it will come back up. So it's very volatile. It's very similar to Bitcoin, actually, Tesla. My TMF fans, I'm one of them. Here we are at TMF. Really good looking opportunity here, guys. We might have another red. We might have another downturn here as it pumped up a little bit. It's coming back down. But long term, we have one more year for this thing. If you bought the $100 calls with me a year ago, we got 12 more months for interest rates to come down, and they are creeping up. So, they are creeping down slowly. And when they do, this thing will take off. This is a very patient midterm trade. This is not a monthly or weekly trade. So if you're getting into this and you want to make money off of interest rates falling, then TMF is going to be your play. It's 3 times the 20-year treasury. If you want more conservative approach, TLT is a standard 20-year treasury, no leverage at all, but still a good trade, a long-term trade. We got a blue cross here, signaling that, yeah, this is going to go up, but there is some confusion here. So very frustrating market with the interest rates. For those of you that been asking about my daughter, Rachel, as you guys know, I love my daughter very, very much, and I'm grateful for all the prayers. I'm very proud of her. We've been going to brain balance, neurological, therapeutic brain exercises. It helps your left brain communicate with your right brain, and for her, she has a neurological development disorder, and so she will just rage in the middle of nowhere and start cursing and start just acting up, and I smacked her. And I've done it out of frustration. I've done it out of maybe pride. And I'm not happy I did that. I should never, ever hit my daughter. And I don't want to. And so I'm asking that you continue to pray for my daughter. That you pray for me, that I reduce my pride. Because at the end of the day, if I get angry and frustrated, it's really an attack on my pride. And it's really about me and not my daughter. You know, why do I get angry when my daughter gets all out of whack? That has nothing to do with her. It's actually me and my pride. Like the thoughts of my childhood comes out, like, I'm well behaved. These kids need to be well behaved. What do my neighbors think of me? What of this? That's where pride comes in. And I'm the first one to admit that I screwed up. I screwed up. And I got angry and I disciplined her out of anger and not out of love. And so I'm asking you to pray for me and my daughter, because all I want to do is show my daughter love. I want to learn her language because she is made in his image. She's made perfect. She's made perfect. And so God has her on this journey for a reason. I'm not here to question God. So yes, she's actually doing very well. I did apologize to her multiple times, and my wife and my other children. But yeah, we've been going, and quite frankly, like it's nice to not have to give your daughter drugs, not to give your daughter medication, because she doesn't act normal. And so we're praying that we can get her off drugs, the Ritalin and the other guavacine that she's on. I don't like giving that to my daughter. I like just natural homeopathic stuff. And if you have any recommendations on that side, then email me, info@cortezwm.com. I don't know all of our listeners, obviously, and I'll take the emails with a grain of salt. but I just appreciate anything, even if it's just a prayer. So if you want to support me in my journey. Also, what's cool is for those of you that know me, I've been fighting about my stupid driveway, right? I needed a driveway and I finally got it approved after 13 months of fighting. And so um, we got dump trucks, 9 dump trucks going on my front yard, filling up a moat, a swamp. The previous homeowner literally put a swamp in my front yard and thought it was beautiful, and a bridge. So I finally got it approved, and I'm excited that that we're moving forward with this this driveway. So I have a lot of dump trucks coming and all these cool heavy machinery in my front yard. It's a beautiful sight to see, and some of my neighbors are triggered, and I love it. But anyways, I love you guys, and I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you. 2 Corinthians 10:4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for pulling down strongholds. So if my stronghold is pride, maybe things have to be a certain way. Maybe 1 out of 4 of my kids act up. Maybe things aren't the way I like it, and it affects my pride, my image. Who freaking cares? Who freaking cares? Who am I? Who do I need to impress? I don't need to impress anybody. I don't need to impress anybody. Maybe in the beginning of my career, I was all about like being flashy and seeking approval and buying nice things. I'm past that, man. I don't need that anymore. I wear a t-shirt because I don't need to wear a suit. I don't need to wear a collar. It's not because I am not professional. It is because it is a resemblance that I don't need to seek approval from anybody other than God himself, Jesus himself. So I hope that resonates with you, because it resonated with me. Anyways, I got to go to my hockey game. I am late, but I wanted to get this podcast out. I love you guys. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe our channel and support us. Get me Lean USA. Lose some weight, get in shape, build some muscle, get the focus peptide so you can start thinking clearly. They're amazing products, and you're supporting our show, and God bless you. And if you do order, I'm going to personally send you a video thanking you, and you'll have access to me. So God bless you, and I'll talk with you soon. You probably clicked this link because you don't trust the stock market. You know that it's manipulated. You know it's rigged for the big banks. You know that you can be financially inoculated with everything that's going on. And the reason why you're here is because you might have some FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Fearful because you don't know what's going on. Uncertainty because there's no one to talk to. And doubtful because there's no plan on what is about to come. But one thing, when it comes to retirement planning, if you don't have a game plan for whatever is about to come, then you are not prepared. It's time for you to protect your money outside of buying gold and silver. This is going to be the best thing because you're protected by contract law. Completely different animal, guys. Again, Carlos Cortez here. Hope I can hear from you. And let's just have a conversation to see if this strategy works for you.
So welcome everybody to Lindell TV, and we have one of our greatest supporters and sponsors, Carlos Cortez. He is the CEO, owner of Cortez Wealth Management. You guys need to go there now. Don't even wait to hear about it. Go to AmericaFirstRetirementPlan.com or call 833-813-3446. We're going to leave it up while we talk to Carlos here. And Carlos, I can't thank you enough for helping support our voice here at Lindell TV. And I wanted to ask you a few questions that the people out there have asked since our last time we were together. Some questions came in, and the first one is, your website emphasizes retirement built in America and for America. In practice, what does that mean? And how do you help your clients invest in the things they believe in?
Thanks for having me, Mike. Yeah, it's really that simple. I mean, in business school, we all were taught to do business with people you like and trust. I don't think
Hmm.
we've gotten, maybe we've gotten away from that with social media. I don't know, but it still is a recipe today. And so before COVID actually came down, um,
Hmm.
I I just went out and went out and publicly and boldly said, you know what? I believe in Christ. I believe in America. My father's a pastor and a drill sergeant. Um, and I'm okay in my skin. I'm okay
Right,
with my message. But let's take it a step further and let's see how we can invest in the way that we believe. And
right.
thus we have value-based investing. And more importantly, like I don't want to go to Mexico or Canada. Like America is all we have. There's
Right.
no plan B, there's no plan C. Like you hear
That's
people,
right.
"Oh, Trump got in, I'm moving to Canada." Well, go to
Right.
Canada and see how you like it.
Uh,
You know?
good for you,
So,
Special K. Goodbye. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Peace.
Uh,
Deuces. So, with when it comes to your retirement, like we are funding if you look at all the woke companies, we are funding the LGBT movement. We are funding the transgender movement.
right,
We're funding all these things that are a demise to us, and this has have been proven. And not only that, but we're funding the legislation. Like how is BLM? How is LGBT getting the money to pass these laws that are victim mentality? And so
right,
we're funding this. And if you go deeper, you'll see that the big 401k providers, possibly your 401k provider, for anyone listening, they're only allowing certain mutual funds, certain investments in a employer sponsored program that funds things that do not go against that goes against America and goes against your values. So what we
wow,
do here is I had to honestly, Mike, when I was a stockbroker, I had this license and I had to literally do everything they told me to do. I built the business, I built the client, I built everything, and I still had to do everything they told me to do. And
right,
I'm like, this is not the American dream. Like as an
right,
entrepreneur, I want to do what's right for my clients. That's my service. That's my open architecture. That's my competitive advantage to the Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones of the world. So
right.
what I said I was going to invent the America First retirement plan. I did it, and we had a great logo. We had a great message, and my little firm has brought in $250 million inside of 14 months because
Right. Oh,
people finally
and
finally can
yeah,
talk to an advisor about what they believe in.
right. No, and that's real important. Everybody is, you know, I had even in stocks that I had, stocks that I was buying. I For myself, my own moral compass, I wouldn't buy stocks even though I knew they were going to go up because what they stood for, what was behind the company that was behind them. And for you to basically what you've done then, people that have, no matter where you have your money, everybody, or they you'll be able to say, hey, you've already vetted the good places that have our values, correct? You've already done that work. For I would want to know that myself. If I have money that's supporting, and I could name a lot of places right now that I don't want to support, and just because you're maybe making money over here, you're giving them an alternative. Here, this would support this, and here, instead of having it here, you could have it here, and making the same thing, but you're supporting something that helped is good and evil as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yes, I mean, as you know, Wall Street is one of the most corrupt streets in the world. So,
Right,
um,
right,
and honestly, they don't care about your religious or spiritual beliefs. They just care about ups,
right.
downs, and sideways and manipulations.
You help sponsor our TV. You help make it all possible so that we can get the great information out to all of you. And we're all in this together, everybody. So get yourself a plan now. I'll say it one more time: AmericanFirstRetirementPlan.com. Call 833-813-3446. Get the phones ringing right now. Obviously, Carlos isn't going to be the one to answer right now because you're watching him right now. Um,
Right.
but I mean, we'll replay this over and over again. But anyway, what do you got right there?
So yeah, when clients call, what I'm doing for our Lindell listeners is I'm actually giving them a book, no cost to them. All they got to do is just give us a call. And if you're a current client, I'll send it for you for free. If you're not a client, all we ask is that we have a 10, 15-minute conversation, and I'll personally sign it. And I wrote pretty much everything we spoke about in a book. And
Wow.
I spent a few grand writing this book, and I don't want any money back. I just want to get the message out that there are options to
Right on.
not fund other countries other than America and protect yourself. So we wrote a book about it, and it's for you.
Well, there you go, everybody. Get yourself the free book of what you just learned, a little bit of it. I'm sure there's a lot more of it there, but what we just talked about, just for listening for a few minutes, at AmericaFirstRetirementPlan.com. Call 833-813-3446. Carlos, I can't thank you enough, and we'll get you back on as very soon. And if you love Carlos' knowledge, remember to tune in for his show on Lindell TV, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks, Carlos.
Thanks, Mike.
God bless you.